Now here, let's go to our menus, our navigation as it's called, right? Because we set up categories, but now we need our menu to be correct, right? It just has few options: home, catalog, blog, and about us. And if you go back to our settings, that's the menu that's currently live, okay? If you look at the main menu, that's what's live. Let's edit it, okay? So let's look at the catalog. Maybe let's call this cameras or camera, whatever. Let's see, let's put cameras in there. And where do we want this to go? So we say that, listen, this has to go to a collection, okay? Which collection do we want it to go to? Okay, so now it's going to give us the selections that we had. Cameras we choose. Now we save it. Now what's going to happen is when we see the menu after home, we're going to start seeing cameras. And then if you click on it, it's going to show you all the products or all the collection under cameras. Okay, so let's go back and let's refresh it. Let's see if the changes have shown up. Okay, you see there, cameras. Okay, now let's click it. Okay, and here, if you look at it, it's showing you all your cameras that are in that collection. Now also notice on the left hand side, it's showing you a list of your tags, okay, because that's how the tags are also used, okay. The shop by that you see on the left side are your tags that you had created when we were creating the product. So now you can also filter based on these tags, okay, on the left hand side. Now let's look at the sorting, right? So we have some basic sorting already ready to go, right? You can also change the view, right? Instead of this view, you can have a different listing view, okay? Or you can go back to the original view that we had, okay? So you see, it's basically everything is customizable, right? We can see that. Let's go back to our settings. Let's look at the next menu item, right? Let's call it our next category, which is lenses. Again, we say collection. Which collection do we want it to point to? Let's say lenses. Okay. By the way, guys, there's something called filter with tags. Even inside a collection, at this point in a menu, you decide that you want to also filter further by a tag. You are able to do it. So it's not necessary that everything may have a collection. You may choose to filter by another tag if you wanted to. Okay. Right here in the menus itself. So just remember that. Okay. Let's save it. Okay, let's just wait for it to come back. It's saved. Okay, and let's go back to our test site. Let's refresh it. Okay, you see the second option now is showing lenses. Click that. We're seeing all the products that are with Tyros lens in this category. So let's go back to our settings. Okay, so what we'll do is, let's come out to the main navigation window. So this is our menu. This is our looking, the footer and the header. Now, when you come to a test site, we may want maybe a drop-down menu or sub-menu, right? So how do we add that, right? Let's say we go to add menu, right? So let's add menu, right? And what is the name that we want? So let's say we want to add it under cameras, okay? So what we have to do is, if it's a sub-menu for cameras, it also has to be given the name of cameras, okay? It matches. If you don't match the name exactly, it's not going to create the sub-menu properly. So you want to make sure that whatever the menu name was, you match it here, okay? So we put cameras, okay? Now, what are the menu items that we want on this, okay? So we say all, right? Maybe we want to show all cameras here, or maybe all DSLRs. Let's actually do DSLRs because we had created something for it already. And collection. And let's say select a collection DSLRs. Okay, save it. All right. As soon as it saves, we're going to get a message. And once the message comes, we can go back to our test site. We can see if that menu option is starting to show. But let's first look at the navigation quickly. If you look at it now, on the main menu on the top, you also see cameras and DSLR there. So let's refresh our test site. And let's see if the menu option. Now you see there's a drop down showing right near the menu, and if you click that, it shows DSLR. Okay, so there's a sub menu that got created. Okay, now you see this is showing all DSLRs when we click on it. Okay, these are all DSLR cameras. Okay, so basically this is how you create a menu and a sub menu. Now let's edit this. Let's add a few more options to it. Okay, so let's do add menu. Now this time let's put point and click, point and shoot, I'm sorry. Okay, collection, and there's another collection that we had created for this. So we'll choose that collection and save it. Okay, successfully saved. Right, let's go back, let's refresh, and now we should see two options under cameras. Okay, DSLR and point and shoot. Just we added, let's click that, and you see the point and shoot cameras that we had added originally to our collections. Okay, go back to navigation. Okay, so we're starting to see how the menus are getting built out, right? So under cameras, you have two options now. Okay. And you understand, main menu, the name was cameras, and the sub menu that was created was also cameras. Now let's add a few more navigation items. Okay, let's just make this a little more like a real site. So let's add one more thing in our main menu, make things a little more comprehensive, right? So let's add a menu item called brands. Okay, so let's add that here. Okay, and we'll probably create a sub menu for this so that we can have another drop down. We'll leave this as home page because we may particularly not want to take them to any other page, right? Let's leave it, or maybe you can choose a collections if you had one for brands. You can choose that. Let's save it. Okay, come back out. Now, what other thing we want to do is we want brands to appear before about us. So let's just quickly grab and move it up. Okay, and then save it. Okay, now it's going to appear in that order. Okay, once it saves, we'll go back to navigation. Okay, there it is. All right, let's go back to our navigation. Okay, and now let's add one more submenu for brand. So add menu, and remember the name will have to be brands. Okay, to match what our menu item is. So if we keep it brand, remember it's not going to show. So here, just reconfirming. So let's call it brands. Now, what is the different submenus that we want under it? Let's say a brand called Nikon. Now, obviously, we've created a collection called Nikon. So we'll choose that. Okay, save it. Okay, wait for it to save. Okay, let's add another menu. Let's add another brand to it. Okay, Canon. And again, we choose our collection. And this time we'll choose Canon. Okay, next brand. Okay, Vanguard. Now again, we'll do the same thing. You can go to collection, choose Vanguard as a collection. Okay, it's on the next page, so we choose that. Okay, now let's add one more menu item. This time, what was our brand that's left? Manfredo. Let's put that in there. Okay, again, collections, and this time again, we choose the collection called Manfredo. That's there. Save it. Okay, now we get that message again, successfully saved. Let's go back to our navigation. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so now we see the brands there. Go to our test site, refresh it. Okay, and you see the drop down come on the brands, and now it's showing all the different brands. So if we go to Nikon, it's going to show us all Nikon products like we had chosen in our collections, right? So that's what we had put on our collection. That's what is showing up here. Okay, let's go back to our navigation. Okay, so this is how we'll create our menu across our website. Okay, so all the different options that we want to create. Again, coming to our test site, on the left side you see the filters. These are your tags. We had actually put these tags in there. The system picks up all of this and starts to use it. Okay, now let's go back to our online store. Okay, and let's go to a section called pages. Now these are different types of pages that you have. Okay, so about us, contact us, home page. Okay, so maybe static pages that you have, you want to put some text there. You can add the pages here, link them to your menu, and then they will show up. So like about us page is actually here and it's linked into the menu. Okay, now let's go to themes. And let's go back to customize theme, okay? Because what we've done is we've added a few things now, so we can go back and we can change some of these options that initially we didn't do, right? So first thing we want to do is the collections page, right? This is where when somebody clicks on a collection, let's say a category, what are the types of things that they will see? So here you see the first option, it says the product image size, right? What are the image sizes of the product that we want to see? So medium is the default. You can change it to small, large, whatever, right? And then on the sidebar where we were showing product filters, remember I said it's using tags? So again, there's two options, right? It says it can do it by tags or it can do it by filter groups. Now, filter groups is something we haven't set, but if we wanted to, we can set up filter groups, but otherwise it will go ahead and use tags, which is what it's currently doing. If you look at it, these are the different tags that we had set and it's using those. Okay. If we do it by group, you can select that, save it, go back, set up these filter groups, and those are what will show up on those pages. So let's go ahead and save it. Okay. Now let's go back to one of these and let's see what has happened since we changed it to groups. Okay. So you see now it's brought groups. Do you realize that when we were creating tags, we created these groups, right? If you remember, we used brand underscore, resolution underscore, type underscore. So what has happened is it's gone and has figured out that those are the different groups that we want to use. Okay. So even though we didn't mention it while creating the tags can be created both ways. It can be simple tags or it can be group based tags. So if you look at it, and if you go back to the tags, you'll realize that we had created resolution tags, right? Resolution underscore 18 megapixel or resolution underscore 24. Now those were creating groups, okay? So now it's showing you filters by groups, right? Just the way we see it on most of the larger websites, right? They always show it by groups, right? They show it by company name, whatever else. So that's what's being shown here, okay? So if we click on any one of these, the filters would start to apply. So let's go back to our settings, okay? So let's come back out. Let's look at our next set of settings, okay? So we just did collection, right? And we did product before, right? Just going back. If you click on the product, any one of them, you can start to see some of the stuff that we have set. This is the zooming feature, right? So you can zoom into any of the images, right? It's showing you prices, right? One, your selling price, your MRP, what is the amount you're saving. Again, these are all the things we had set that we want to show, right? And it's starting to show that. So here, if we say show compare price and we take it out, we go back and we refresh it, you see it's going to take it out, okay? So just hold on for the refresh and you see it's taken it out. Even though it shows the saving, it's taken out the MRP, okay? So, but still, all the Facebook, etc. buttons that we had put that we want products to be shared, on the bottom, it also shows recommended products, okay, because we had chosen show related products on the screen. Again, let's just choose show compared price again. We also say now show product vendor, okay. So now when we go back, we'll be able to see which vendor made the, is the manufacturer of the product if we wanted to. Okay, so here, if you come down, here you see the vendor, right? So it says Nikon now, which it didn't say originally, okay. So anything you change here, now we can go back and change because we have products there also, okay. Now let's look at featured collection, okay. This is one section that currently we haven't set, okay. Let's go back, okay. Let's go to featured collections. Actually, first let's look at featured content, right. This right now is just showing nothing because we have not chosen any featured content. Now here's featured collection. Now here we can say which collections do you want the system to pick, maybe automatically, or you can do it manually, okay. And in manually, we have several options that it's showing, but you know what, we may want to have something called hot deals. So let's go back to our main settings page, okay. Let's go back to products, okay. Once we go into products, collections, and then we're going to add a new collection, okay. Maybe something that we want to call hot deals, okay. So let's wait for the collections page to come up. All right. So here again, we'll do add collection, okay. All right. So title, let's call it hot deals. Okay. Let's put a description in here. Okay. Let's come back down. Okay. How do we want to select the products? Okay, what we'll say is we'll manually select the products. No, actually let's do automatic. Let's look at what conditions we want to put. So let's choose maybe something that's to deal with product price, right? Maybe people are more attracted to certain types of price points. So let's look at that, right? Okay, so product price is less than, let's assume, what would you think? Maybe 20,000 rupees, being very attractive to people. Let's put that, save it. And now what I'll do is I'll put all the products that are under 20,000 and put it in this collection called hot deals, okay? And then if we want, we can go back. Okay, let's go back to our online store. Let's look at our themes. Okay, customize it. Okay, and go to featured collections. Now let's look at manually again, and let's put hot deals. We added that, right? So that there it is. Choose that. Choose a second one. Call it cameras. Choose next one. Maybe we want lenses. Okay. Now what else? Okay, Canon and Nikon. And again, we can choose these, save this. Now what happens is, if you look on the left hand side, it's going to refresh and it's going to start showing all these different types of collections to you. Okay, so let's come down, and this is, we refresh our page. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's not showing. Let's just go back. Why is it not showing? Okay, yeah, the collection rows was not set. So we come back to collection rows. Okay, and instead of putting collection home page, right, let's put hot deals. Okay, sorry, that's where it needs to be. And that's how many rows of hot deals you want to show. Then on the second row, what do you want to show? So depending on how many rows of products you want to show, you can actually specify that. Okay, and if you see, it says 5 products per line is what it will show. Number 2 will show cameras. Number 3, we will show lenses. Actually, let's do Nikon just to show. Okay, and how many rows do we want? So up, if you saw, I added 2 rows. Okay, just so that we can see what happens with different things. Okay, here we'll put lenses. Okay, how many rows do we want to show? Okay. Now save it. Now it's saved. Okay, now let's go back. Now if you look at it, right below the categories is starting to show us different collections, okay? And it's showing 3, 4, 5, whatever number of products are in there, and where we set 2 lines, it's showing 2 lines of collections, okay? So we're going to refresh it, our test page, and we're going to see it again. Okay, let's come down. Right, so we see hot deals, we see cameras, okay? So right below the categories, okay, so this is where all the products are starting to show. Okay, if you see, there's 2 lines that it just shows for camera, and then for Nikon, lenses, etc., showing 1 line each, because that's what we specified. We don't want more than that. And wherever there's more, they show you the more cameras or more Nikons button. Okay, so now our site is pretty much set, right? We've got products, we've got collections, etc. Now let's come back and see what else that do we need to set. Okay. So on the cart, what type of cart do we want, right? So it has multiple types of carts that we can implement. Okay, we need shopping cart. Obviously, you can choose a product here, but ultimately it has to be added to the cart. So let's go ahead and see, right, what is the type of cart we have. So right now, this is a shopping cart that's by default coming in. Okay, so you add a product, shows you a pop-up saying how many products you want, do multiple quantities, click checkout. Okay, and here is where the shopping cart has come in. Okay, the first thing it's asking us is the email ID. Okay, and the shipping address, and on the right hand side you're actually seeing the product. Okay, it's also showing you what are the different steps. Okay, now let's come back. Okay, so let's look at our settings again. Okay, so once we've got all our settings done, next thing we want to do is go back to our main store. Okay, and look at something called domains, right? This is where, once we're ready to go live, this is where we're going to have to kind of indicate to Shopify what is our domain. Now, this is currently not available because once your site is set, okay, and like we said, for advanced students, You can take months or whatever weeks to set this. The site is pretty much there for you, but as soon as you need to go live, you'll need to pay them, okay? Otherwise, it's going to continue to show it under the test URL like clicks-and-shoots.myshopify.com, okay? So you need to make sure that if you want to move this to a proper domain, you have to upgrade your plan, okay? And this is where you're going to come and do that, okay?